Today, I'd like to talk about abundance, right? And I'm going to go out on a limb and coin my own term, and I'm going to call it the law of abundance, right? So as a kid growing up, one of the things my father made sure I understand was in anything, any endeavor that I choose to pursue, make sure I do it in abundance. What that means is if my goal is to go out here and make money, make so much money I can take care of my responsibilities, other people's responsibilities, and still have enough to give away. You understand? My father has been gifted in agriculture. So from a childhood, growing up, as I've shared in other videos, my father was always planting something. And he followed the law of abundance. Like I said, he's the one that, shared the knowledge with me, where my father never planted like a finite number amount of crops. No, don't get me wrong. Obviously, he's human. He can't plant an unlimited amount. But he always did everything he did to make sure that there was abundance. So if even half of the crop died, he'd still like have enough to feed his family and still have enough to give away and still have enough to sell. Like he'd have plenty. And when I questioned him on this topic, he basically said when he was growing up as a child, there was something that was shared with him that was like, even if you're selling something for 1 cent, grow so much that you could still make a good living off of it. So he does everything in an abundance. And I thought about that for a second. And it's like, how many of us like will do something and, we have a finite number on it. Like, oh, I can only make this much. I can only do this much. I can only give this much. But, to take it a step further, he always shared that the more you give away is the more you earn. And, I never thought about that. I never, it never occurred to me to look at it from that perspective. So, like I'm saying, today, I'm sharing with you the law of abundance, right? Go big. Don't go small. You understand? If you have the ability to do something, do it on a large scale, a very large scale. Do it so it's abundant, to where you can take care of you can take care of your community, and you can take care of everyone you want to. Now, I'm not saying just because you have an abundant amount of something, you need to go out here and give it to everybody else. But in your mindset, whenever you're doing anything, it should be in abundance. There should be plenty of, you understand? Because you always want to contribute to others around you, right? It's very hard to grow in a vacuum, right? It's easy to grow when you lift the people around you up as well. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be their sole, source of reliant for elevation, but you should do everything in your power to make sure that you're not the only one consistently climbing the ladder. You understand? Another friend of mine, he coined the term, lift as you climb. I'm not saying he climbed it, but he told it to me. So as far as I'm concerned, he coined it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the law of abundance. You understand? Anything you're gonna put your hands off, whether it's positive thoughts, whether it's finances, whether it's just spreading kindness, whether it's spreading love, whether it's being a good example, whatever it is, do it big, do it in abundance, do it to where there is an excess, because you won't have enough hands to give it away.